In traditional society, I was educated that the role of the media was to reinforce the opinion of the public and produce content reflective of the organic, natural perceptions of society as a collective. Unfortunately, this is the biggest deception of all. In a world where the organic processes were monopolized and distorted before the media was born, it is fundamentally impossible for the media to reflect a society that is molded through educational brainwashing to believe what a collective elite program their conscious and subconscious thoughts to absorb. To this point, if you haven't checked it out already, head over to tottnews.com and check out our piece, Secondary Education was established to create unity of thought, where we explore how some of the most prominent figures involved in the founding of the schooling system spoke of how the real agenda was to produce efficient workers and a unification of perception in their books. The role of the media was universally accepted by the same techniques used for manipulation. So, to put simply, roles are projected versions of an entity or organization, just as you would see with any other commercial business, whilst the agenda is the real intention behind the broadcasting being displayed. The latter was always the directive, not the self-image projected. Media-induced fear, public opinion, propaganda, group psychology, and direct messages, coupled with an understanding of communication, globalization, and technology, are all crucial elements needed to be understood to truly comprehend the agenda of the media. Now that we've reached that point, and hopefully you can come to understand that some of these concepts are crucial elements of the picture, let's discuss the ultimate agenda of media, and that is to deface reality and replace it with a simulated representation of reality, the hyperreal. This is the ultimate nature of communications and always will be. This can be broken down into three distinct categories: the knowledge, the agenda, and the cultivation. The mass media influences collective knowledge of society in a variety of factors, including the extent to which the content is appealing, the degree to which information channels are accessible and desirable, and the amount of social conflict and diversity there is in a community. In an attempt to fill gaps in knowledge by informing the public of issues they may not be aware of, the media masks itself as a great educator of the masses, despite the gaps filtered contained with false left-right paradigms, fear-based campaigns, and more. Society will soon have their thoughts completely unified through this technique, and coupled with continued advancements in technology, media will become the archive of all natural experience in the human mind. Gone the days of individual development and understanding. The second key driver of this defecation of reality is the day-to-day social agenda setting that takes place in most media organizations across the world, and what most mistake as the overall agenda of the media, despite it only being a small but key part of the discussion. People are influenced by how they think about issues due to the selective nature of what media choose for public consumption. When wanting to set an agenda, framing can be invaluably useful to a mass media organization. Framing involves taking a leadership role in the organization of public discourse about an issue. The media is influenced by the desire to serve the agendas of their masters, and the resulting effect remains a blissfully unaware and deceived public audience. Media creates false identified problems, moves them to the public agenda, and defines the issues symbolically through simulated representation. The final piece of this underlying agenda is the cultivation phase, which is the long-term vision or trajectory an organization may hold at any time, either relating to an event or specific topic. The extent to which media exposure shapes audiences' perception over time is known as cultivation. Television is a common experience, especially like places in Australia, to the point where it can be described as an homogenizing agent. Even those that don't directly watch TV anymore are still beamed collective narratives and information transmitted to them through means such as social media, Hollywood, music, and more. Having a prolonged exposure to these mediums, or movie violence or TV, for example, might affect a viewer to the extent where they actively think community violence is a problem, or alternatively, find it justifiable. Either or. We discussed this recently on the General Knowledge podcast, where we examined the so-called African gang problem in Australia and how this regulated crime wave, coupled with a manufactured media hype, masks the real issues of multiculturalism and the agenda here in Australia. The resulting belief in any given situation or event is likely to be different depending on what section of the false left-right paradigm they have inserted their beliefs into. The same concept underpins the picture, however, and that is that all of their thoughts have been manufactured for them.